Michael and Willow's heated custody battle kicks off, with Diane seeking sole custody and Rick fighting back. Carly testifies about Willow's secret trip with the kids, while Jocelyn takes the stand and accuses Willow of using Michael's injuries to her advantage. Diane bans Jason from court to avoid damaging Michael's case. Meanwhile, Brook lashes out at Lois and Gloria for hiding the truth about Gio, who refuses to stay at the Quartermaine mansion. Over at the pool, creepy Professor Dalton hires Jocelyn, while Emma feels betrayed. Tension and secrets ripple across Port Charles as families fracture and truths unfold. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital Tuesday, June 3rd recap. Jason banned from custody courtroom. General Hospital recap for Tuesday, June 3rd, reveals that Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, was banned from the courtroom while Professor Henry Hank Dalton's Daniel Goddard got creepy with all his poolside staring at Emma Scorpio Drake, Braden Bruner. Here's how Tuesday's action-packed GH episode played out. By the Metro Court Pool, Kai Taylor, Jens Austin Astrup, and Trina Robinson, Tabiana Ollie bumped into Emma, who wasn't happy when Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, popped up as well. After Jocelyn saw Professor Dalton and walked toward him, Emma complained to Trina and Kai about Joss stealing her research assistant gig. Trina argued that Jocelyn wouldn't have taken a position that she didn't earn. Nearby, Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda brought Jordan Ashford, Tanisha Harper, over to Professor Dalton's table and played up his groundbreaking research that would change the world. After Jocelyn appeared with some research-related updates, Professor Dalton invited her to join them and explained that she was his new assistant. Jocelyn sat down with Dalton, Sidwell, and Jordan, so there was some talk about the professor's thorough vetting process. Professor Dalton needed to know he could trust the people who worked for him since he'd been burned in the past. After Professor Dalton talked about developing a new path to clean energy, Jocelyn stepped away to take a phone call. Jordan talked with Professor Dalton alone after Sidwell took off, but he eventually got distracted as he ogled Emma in her bikini. At Sunny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard Place, Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, apologized for how he treated Sunny when he first found out they were father and son. Sunny put the focus on Gio Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza, now and still considered Lois Cerullo, Rena Sofer, a friend despite her deception. At the Quartermaine mansion, Gio wasn't there to see Lois, Gloria Cerullo, Ellen Travolta, and Brook Quartermaine, Amanda Sutton. Gio just wanted to grab the rest of his things and leave, but Lois piped up a defense of Brook. Although Brook had been in the dark on Gio being her son, he was still upset over her not wanting him. Brook argued that she couldn't care for Gio as a scared teen, which wasn't the same thing. Gloria thought Gio should be grateful that they found him a good home, and reminded him of how much he loved his adoptive mother, Camilla Palmieri. Gio acknowledged that he did, but he was still outraged over all the lies. Since Camilla even lied on her deathbed, Brook questioned whether Lois and Gloria pressured a dying woman to keep quiet. However, Lois and Gloria made it clear that Camilla made the decision for herself. Although Brook also made the decision to give up her baby boy, she ranted about Gloria and Lois not telling her about Gio once Camilla passed away. Brook got fed up with both Lois and Gloria, so she ordered them both to get out. Although Lois planned to pack up her belongings, Brook snapped that she'd have them sent to Bensonhurst instead. Once Gloria and Lois were gone, Gio acknowledged that Brook had been lied to like him. Even so, Gio refused to stay at the Q mansion and rejected his family since he hadn't been wanted. At the law office, Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grawn, downplayed any money laundering concerns and acted like she was confident in all her investments, but Marco Rios, Adrian Anchondo, was there to help if she ever needed it. After Rick Hurst saw that Diane Miller, Carolyn Hennessy, was calling Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Monsey, as a witness, he got Alexis on the phone and told her to get down to the courthouse. Rick used his leverage to convince Alexis that she had to come collect Christina and stop her from testifying. Alexis did as she was told, so she ultimately brought Christina back to the law office, where Christina met Marco. As for Jason, Diane refused to let him testify or even be in the courtroom since it could hurt Michael's case. Diane didn't want to open the door for Rick to focus on the incendiary device and all the Sunny danger. Jason and Sunny discussed all the latest court news soon after. Later, Lois showed up to tell Sunny goodbye now that Lynn was sending her back to Bensonhurst along with Gloria. In the courtroom, Diane told Judge Eva Heron, Tess Aubergenois, that Michael was seeking sole custody and offering Willow Corinthos, Caitlin McMullen, $5 million as a divorce settlement. Lynn says she understands why they didn't tell her about Gio before Camilla died, but after she did die, Lynn feels that she could have helped Gio. She tells Lois and Gloria she wants them out of her sight and to go back to Bensonhurst. Lois tells her mom they should go, and they walk out. Money laundering. At Alexis' office, she asks if Marco is asking her if she's laundering money. He isn't, but he knows how easy it is to get involved in shady investment schemes. She assures him she is good, and the DeLoss Fund isn't a shell company, and she is confident in her investments. He says to know that he's here to help in the future. That's when Alexis gets a call. Dante's sorry. At Sunny's, Dante tells his father that he owes him an apology for how he treated him after discovering he was his father. Sunny says it's not necessary, and he is sure that in time, Gio will come around and learn to accept him. Dante has to get to Michael's court case, and thanks his dad. Michael and Willow meet in court. In court, Diane gives Rick her list of witnesses and suggests Willow take the offer they've made her. Rick refuses it. Jason, Carly, Christina, Michael, Tracy, and Sasha arrive outside the courtroom, as do Willow, Nina, and Drew. Willow is having difficulty feeling confident, but when Nina sees Sasha, she assures her daughter that everything will work out fine. Tracy walks over to Drew and says she's sorry she's out of ketamine, so he'll have to get more elsewhere. Meanwhile, Christina asks Carly if Jason admitted to being Sasha's baby daddy. Carly says he hasn't, and she hasn't pushed him. Nearby, Sasha is worried Rick may know the truth about her baby, but Jason assures her he doesn't. Court is about to start, but Diane tells Jason they have a problem. She isn't calling him to testify, as Rick could use it to claim Michael was put in danger in the first place because of his proximity to him and his father. She even believes Jason shouldn't be in the courtroom, as being there could give Rick a chance to call him. Michael knows Dane right, and Jason tells Michael to go get those kids and know he's a great father. Rick calls Alexis and orders her to come down to the courthouse. She says she doesn't have a court date today. Rick says, "You don't, but Christina does." He says Diane put Christina on her witness list, and he is worried she'll say Willow used Michael's torched body as a bargaining chip, so she needs to stop her, or he may bring up the brake line incident while Christina is on the stand. He tells her to do what she needs to do fast. Court begins, and Diane states her client Michael wants full custody of his children. She will argue Willow threw away her marriage and family when she had an affair with Michael's uncle, Congressman Drew Kane. They also offer Willow $5 million as a divorce settlement. Rick counterargues that Willow is a good mother and she will be seeking full custody of the children. The judge tells Diane to call her first witness. Carly takes the stand and says she was at the Quartermain Christmas party, where Willow and Drew's affair video was played. She went to the gatehouse afterward and found Nina and Willow trying to take the children. She argues that Michael let Willow take the kids as it was best for the children at the moment, who were already tired and upset due to the late hour they were dragged out of bed. Diane then questions Carly about Willow taking the kids to DC with Drew. Carly says Michael did not authorize her to take the kids across state lines. The only reason they knew about the trip was because Wiley called her saying Willow was in Uncle Drew's room at the time. Chase is called next about being tasked with taking the children from Willow under a court order. Diane also says she knows he was once married to Willow and asks if she was faithful to him. Chase looks at Michael and says she wasn't, and admits that Willow cheated on him with Michael. A recess is called, and Rick assures Drew that everything is going well. He says Diane is only covering old evidence, while they have new, compelling evidence. Rick looks at Nina. Outside the courtroom, Dante arrives at the same time Alexis does. He spies Alexis grab Christina and drag her off, but he doesn't hear Alexis tell Christina they have to leave to keep both of them out of prison. Diane begins to plan her lineup of witnesses, only for Dante to reveal that Christina just left with Alexis. Diane was counting on her to explain what happened at the hospital after Michael was burned, but Michael knows someone else they can call to testify about that. Court resumes, and Dante is called to the stand and testifies per Diane's questioning that the device in Sonny's penthouse that injured Michael was not meant for him. Rick cross-examines and has Dante confirm Michael's arrest and sentencing to prison for manslaughter years ago. Diane counters and asks Dante to explain the circumstances of the arrest. Dante explains that Michael was stopping Claudia Zacchera from absconding with his baby sister, Christina. Rick cross-examines again and has Dante confirm that Michael bludgeoned Claudia with an axe handle, and the charge was involuntary manslaughter and not defensive manslaughter. Tracy is called to the stand next by Diane and testifies that Michael is the future of her family as Monica and Alan's only living grandson. Diane asks about Drew's place in the family, and Tracy testified that ever since the beginning, Drew has wanted everything that Michael has had, including Michael's wife. Rick cross-examines and questions Tracy about her arrest for kidnapping Amelia and Wiley. She says she was babysitting them for Michael, and this hearing is not about her, but Willow's fitness as a mother. Rick again asks if she was charged with kidnapping, and Tracy is forced to answer yes. Tracy leaves, having done her part, and Diane is about to call Michael to the stand. That's when Joss, whom Diane has called as a surprise witness, appears. Because she wasn't on the list, Rick forces the judge to refuse to give Diane time to prep Joss. Joss gets on the stand and testifies that Willow used Michael's burns as a bargaining chip and forbade his family from seeing him until she got her kids back. She also says Drew stood by her side and supported her as she used Michael in this way. Rick cross-examines and asks Joss about her mother, Carly, stealing the children from Willow and their home. Joss says her mother had a legal court order to take the children, and they weren't at home, but staying at Nina's. Rick asks Joss to confirm that Willow's only desire has always been to be with her children. Carly watches and hopes Joss doesn't take Rick's bait. Christina meets Marco. Christina and Alexis return to Alexis' office, and Marco interrupts and says Diane wants to know why she took Christina out of court. Christina says she'll call and tell Diane that it was too triggering after the last time Rick shredded her on the stand. Christina tells Marco they haven't met and introduces herself as the family reject. Marco introduces himself, though he does not mention Natalia or Blaze, and says he's only heard nice things about her. Marco leaves them, and Christina thinks she should return to court. Alexis forbids it and reminds her she's running the show now after Christina almost killed 2 people while trying to kill a third. Lois says goodbye. Jason arrives at Sonny's, and he assumes Diane ordered him out of the court for Michael's benefit. They discuss what happened with Gio, who wants nothing to do with the Quartermaines. Jason says the QS are furious with Lois, and Sonny says they aren't the only ones. Lois arrives later and tells Sonny that she and her mom are returning to Bensonhurst. Her daughter wants nothing to do with her or her mom, and she asks Sonny to look out for Gio, as she is worried about him, and he feels he has no one right now. Sonny says he will. Lois tells him goodbye and exits. Lynn extends an invitation. Back at the Q mansion, Lynn tells Gio that she knows this is hard, but she'd like him to consider staying. Gio knows they were both lied to, but the fact is, none of them wanted him, and the feeling is mutual. Gio walks out. On the next General Hospital, Gio is unsure he can trust Sonny. In court, Rick asks Sasha when the last time she slept with Michael was. Lynn confronts Lulu and tells her she finally got what she wanted and destroyed her life. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.